love about GC is he is so unselfish, teaching us all how to multiply money, said Snoop Dogg. Really? Grant has had every single major key to success. Any big time awesome guy that knows about success has been to Grant's annual 10X Growth Con.
I've been judged for working too much, wanting too much, being too colorful, being inappropriate, insensitive, and too out there.
That is a conference in which he has people like Rick Ross.
That's what I love the most. Coming from the mud to the marble.
Usher.
Because no matter how much money you have, if you're not happy, you're not happy.
Yeah.
Pitbull.
Which it's worth more to be the head of a mouse than the tail of a lion.
50 Cent.
You know, I'm having a good time. I exercise that whistle while you work concept.
And Floyd Mayweather.
You have to believe first. You have to. And that's the main thing I always believe.
Anyways, Grant has all of the financial advice and experience that a person could have. His personal net worth is around $600 million and his firm manages around $4 billion of assets. That is a lot of money. His house is very large and very good looking.
You can change the house. You can't change the location. And you can't change the bones.
He has such a beautiful home, and I just want to make that clear that I think his home is very unique and it's cool. This is a very cool home. A lot of rich people homes are ugly as fuck. I like this one a lot. I like the black, I like the white, I like the wood. It's dope. Let me come over, Grant. I'd love to sit in your house. He's got cars, he's got a jet. The dude's got it all.
I'm sitting here on the front of a damn 180-foot yacht.
He's so pimping, he don't even need a gold chain. He actually has the fucking average GTA 5 online garage. It's wild. And the dude is the leader of his movement, the 10X movement.
10X is defined as a concept where you would scale your business and or your ideas, to which point you would create a life, not a business. You would create a life without limitations.
Basically TEDx, but for business people, for like the professional corporate world. Grant is the 10X event. He's the face of it. He started the event back in 2017 and it has become huge now. And he does it every single year. Success is your duty, obligation, and responsibility. I'm Grant Cardone.
This event has changed my life already, and I haven't even been able to implement anything.
10X. I'm changing my channel into fucking 10X oompaville or whatever it would be, more so if it was, you know, owned by Grant Cardone or whatever. By the way, do you remember Andrew Tate and the key to success, Hustlers University? It is literally the key to success.
The average people come to me and say, what do I do? I'm just the average guy. And my only answer is stop being the average guy.
What if I were to tell you that there was an even better option, and it is owned by our friend here, Grant Cardone. Cardone University. There's over 800 videos and courses to watch through.
I've been in this sales space now for about 30 years. Made a commitment when I was 25 years old. I'm gonna become the guy, the legend, the living legend of everything sales.
This is a course you cannot afford to miss. And by the way, this is an actual business thing that has permeated the cockles of the business world, the corporate world, the professional world for a long time now. And I know people that I respect a lot in business. One fellow that I met today who thought it was hilarious that I was doing a Cardone video because he's done the Cardone University, and it's like, it's this big funny thing. You got Grant Cardone, and then you got the teachings, and then you got just like the everything being propped up with stage sales. We'll get into it. It's fucking hilarious. Who's already using Cardone University? Put oompaville on there. Put oompaville.com on there. Put oompaville on that list. Do it. Also, the course is tax deductible, which is another massive W for all these businesses. Mentioned he was a best-selling author earlier, New York Times bestseller. He's got the 10X rule, how to create wealth, investing in real estate, the wealth creation formula, the millionaire booklet, sell or be sold, 10X kids, and the closer survival guide. Bro legit has the keys to success, and quite honestly, he's dangling them over my head for a small fee, and I'm gonna buy it. Why do people talk about Grant? For example, why did CoffeeZilla make multiple videos about Grant?
I'll never forget, these guys paid $12,000 each to sit in that chair.
Oh. Why do all these detractors, these haters, make videos about Grant? How did this man make his riches? Well, Grant has had plenty of clips go viral, whether it be him talking publicly, recounting stories on podcasts, giving advice.
Whatever you think about money, you're wrong.
One of his most famous bits, and one that I saw a long time ago that stuck with me and hurt me to my very soul, was the viral "Sell Me This Water" video. There's a few of them, but it's one where this fellow prepares himself to sell Grant water.
Let me tell you about the benefits of the water. Not only is it very good tasting, but at the same time, it has a lot of vitamins, minerals, and there's a lot of benefits to it.
How do you think you did?
Not good.
Horrible.
Or there's this clip of this guy whose breath smells so bad that Grant eventually pulls out a pocket square to cover his nose and mouth, implying that the man's breath smells so bad.
You're gonna go home, you're gonna get in the shower, you're gonna be like, wow. My balls are growing. That's how good that water is.
Now, you'd think that this might not work, but Grant ends up drinking the water.
But
What? Say that again?
Your balls are going to be bigger by drinking that water. I guarantee it. That's the disclaimer.
I'm drinking some water.
That's the disclaimer.
Maybe not from the sales abilities of this fellow with stinky breath, but maybe due to Grant's need to find a reprieve from the foul odor. This thing is super common. This whole water selling thing, he does it often.
The water challenge separates the children from the adults every time.
You gotta sell me water or I'm not gonna hire you.
I'm not really looking for water. You wanted to put, you got a shot at selling a glass of water. I'm not even thirsty.
Okay, well then why should I sell it if you're not even thirsty? Correct?
Yeah.
I mean, I want to make sure that this is the right water for you, so I'm trying to get an idea of what exactly you're going to be using it for.
You know what I would do? I do that same shit that fucking guy out in California did to that judge. If I'm fucking at an interview and this dude's like, "Sell me this glass of water."
I moved 1,200 miles from my family and everything I've ever known down here because I knew you were giving a shot away and this was my opportunity. And I chased opportunity. So look, thought is instantaneous. So I got a question for you. Have you seen enough to make a decision?
That's good, dude. That's good.
Was it good? I need to start bringing this into my videos. You guys will buy all the candy at sour.gg, even though there's probably none for sale because we sell out too quickly, so fuck you guys. I wouldn't hire that fella. But anyways, so these are just the tip of the iceberg in terms of Grant Cardone clips. It's just showing you his general capacity. He likes to interview people, keep them on their toes. If they had a plan for the interview, he likes to throw that plan out the window by saying, "Sell me this water." It's a classic thing in the sales world, the selling of the pen in the Wolf of Wall Street.
Sell me this fucking pen right here. You can sell anything, sell that. Go ahead.
By the way, there's beef between Jordan Belfort and Grant Cardone. We'll get into that. This is the type of sort of generic clip that goes around of Grant Cardone. They're pretty viral. They all get posted by the same TikToks that are talking about money.
People are dying for water. Why wouldn't somebody buy water if they're dying right now outside? Outside and inside, everybody needs water in order to survive.
It's just a bunch of finance bros jacking each other off into each other's mouths, bukkakking each other, posting clips of their God King Grant. Check this out. This is uncomfortable.
Where's your script?
Give us 30 days to help your guys.
Fuck it, dude. I don't need you remembering it. I need you reading it. Okay. I need you reading the script the way I want it done. Okay. Make the calls.
Yep. Here's just some epic cringe moments.
You're my best guy, right? Yeah. What does that mean? Yeah.
Hi, is this Bill?
He's just getting hounded by Grant Cardone for 4.5 minutes straight. This is at Grant's offices, and he's one of his best salesmen on the best sales team.
I wanted you to personally call.
Okay, sounds great, John.
That's
All right,
what the script says.
Well, Grant personally wanted me to call you to get 5 minutes of your time to show you the program.
He's being a helicopter parent. It's a strange video.
You're never going to be great on a handful of phone calls, okay? So when people say it's not a numbers game, it's bullshit. It is numbers because it starts breaking you need numbers to get great.
It's an uncomfortable watch. It's not a very cool work environment. I understand it, right? It's sales.
We got tornadoes and we're still making calls.
And that is where we are introduced to that capacity that Grant has. The capacity to be full of himself, a piece of shit, etc.
How does anybody live on $2.7 million a year? My plane eats $2.7 million a year. This dude needs to think different. He's running out of time, man.
There is a video of an in-the-street style interview from a TikToker that is blowing up recently that is just Grant being a jerk to him.
Well, how did you get to 1.3 billion?
Oh, guys like you. Landscaping. Hey, I cut my grass, I trim my trees, I pick my flowers on my knees.
Is landscaping a good industry to be in?
Well, you know what? I grew up in the bayou, and now I fly right by you.
How odd. What a lot of rhymings that was. So on top of the douche aspect of Grant, we have the out of touch aspect of Grant, which is one that is very common for just people nowadays, especially people who make videos on the internet and who just, you know, I don't know. There's something just like truly struggling and just not being happy for an extended period of time that makes you a good person. And then there's these guys.
Never take advice from a millionaire. They don't have any money. This is what I do. I always stay broke. I look at my cash accounts every day, and I try to get my cash accounts to zero every day. I want no liquidity.
Perfect advice for accumulating success and money. Spend all your money. I guess I could see how it makes sense, right? From the perspective of Grant Cardone. He's trying to be edgy. He's trying to be cool. He's trying to like tell you something new. I mean, he's selling you something. You're obviously, if you're there, you're part of the cult. You're subscribing to what he's saying quite literally. Also, he's a millionaire. He's not even worth $1 billion. He likes to lie about that.
Call me a millionaire. It's an insult to the amount of work that I've done. Go to Singapore, and I'll show you $1 million is no money. When I go to India, the middle class is like, if I can get there, I'm a king. Yeah, but it's not true because millionaires cannot buy jets.
But there are no reasonable sources aside from Grant Cardone that say he's worth $1 billion. That's such an absurd claim. It gets worse, and worse. He talks about how if he made $400,000 a year, he'd be embarrassed with himself as a husband and as a human being.
If I made $400 grand a year, I would be embarrassed with myself as a husband, a father, basically as a human being.
He says you can't live off $400,000 a year.
You guys haven't done the math because you cannot live on $400 grand a year.
He also says that anyone can make $400,000 a year if they show up.
Anybody can make $400 grand a year. All you got to do is show up. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. You guys don't need to agree with me. I've already been paid my fee. I am not here to satisfy you. I don't care if you like me or not, man. I want to move a handful of people in the room to go from 400 grand a year to start thinking about how do I make 4 million?
Show up where? What the fuck are you talking about? One of the most epic things that Grant has done to prove that he is an out of touch piece of shit was when he pretended to be bankrupt on Instagram Live and tried to convince people to buy his expensive stuff for very cheap.
Now, on the rumors of my bankruptcy that is soon to happen, yes, it's true. I'm losing the plane, the condo, all the apartments, 8,000 units.
He gives an example of his 2017 Gulfstream plane, which he says is $50 million value, market value. But you can get it for a measly $7 to $8 million.
So if you guys want to get it before it goes back to the bank, call me. Gulfstream, 2017 Gulfstream 550, brand new. It's about 50 million. You could probably pick that thing up today for, I don't know,
6.5.
7 or 8 million bucks.
It's so dumb. What is Grant's actual advice? 8 years ago, he was training that poor guy with PTSD, Mike, in a call center on how to sell his course over the phone.
I'm going to my fusion shop and I'm just gonna hammer.
Okay, good.
I'm gonna hammer everybody.
He says you can make $400,000 a year if you show up.
Anybody can make 400 grand a year. All you got to do is show up.
Which sounds great, but there's zero actionable advice. Well, guys, we've got the 10X rule, a book that can be condensed down to a few sentences to understand the overarching point of it. By the way, almost none of it is actionable advice as well, which that's a lot of self-help stuff. None of it is actionable, or a lot of it's not actionable. It's just platitudes and shit that you already know. Part 1, set targets for yourself that are 10 times greater than what you believe you can achieve. Take actions that are 10 times greater than what you believe are necessary to achieve your goals. What the fuck does that even mean? For example, if you want to have a side hustle, have 10 side hustles, drop ship, re-upload people's content to TikTok.
Then I go and sit on my couch and search for Kaisenat funny moments, because he usually streams whilst I'm sleeping, so I have to go catch up. I start screen recording his funniest moments and then crop it. I then take the videos into CapCut and put GTA gameplay at the bottom, add some subtitles, and then I export it. And I head over to my TikTok page. Let's see how much we made for the month. Ooh, in the past 2 weeks, I've made $3,000. And in the past 5 weeks, I've made $11K.
Live stream yourself sleeping with sound alerts on so you wake up whenever there's donations.
Shoot him 2 times, XD Kappa.
Dude, I'm not even asleep yet.
Grant loves talking about investing, specifically real estate investing. This is a very recent clip.
Poor people get rich by investing. Rich people get poor because they spend their money. Rich people that become wealthy keep investing. If I'm poor, I'm going to invest to get rich. Once I'm rich, I'm going to invest to create wealth. Once I have wealth, I'm going to refinance my assets so that I increase the value or quality of my living. I am never going to buy my watches, my clothes, my jets. I'm never going to buy the good stuff with earned income. I'm going to buy it because I either refinance my investments, my stocks, my Bitcoin, my real estate. I'm going to reinvest that, or because it provided me with passive income.
What he's saying is absolutely 100% true, and you can get tastes of it everywhere you go. And when you start to save money and invest money and you stop being risk averse, there is a real truth to what he's saying there. It's all about growing what you have. But there's no actual actionable advice. Don't listen to Grant Cardone say nothing. Get a fucking financial planner. He also talks about renting over buying a home.
I sold my home in Los Angeles. I took all the equity out of my home, used the equity not to buy a house. I rented, and I took the equity and bought apartments. The apartments provided me with about $500,000 in income a year, $40,000 a month, and I rented for $18,000 a month. I was net positive $22,000 a month because I made a decision not to own a home, but to own apartments and live in an apartment. The equity when I came out of California was $12 million, and it actually paid $1.2 million a year. You ever met anybody that became a billionaire buying a house? I don't think so. It's a liability. It's not an asset.
Sure, yeah, it works great, but like, it's harder to get $1 million than it is to turn $1 million into $2 million or $3 million. It is irrefutably more difficult. It's very difficult to get to the point where any of this is remotely applicable without taking advantage of people or being born with a silver spoon. And yes, it does make sense. What he is saying does absolutely make sense, but the people who are learning this stuff and who are taking in his advice don't need this advice. He also talks about investing in companies. Yet again, you need an absurd amount of money to get to that point.
The boss of Coca-Cola makes $52 million a year. And you're like, oh, that's a lot of money. Yeah, but he will only be paid that for so long before they blow him out. One of the minority investors in Coca-Cola, a guy named Warren Buffett, made $508 million and will never be kicked out. When you start studying the right information, you're like, I don't want to be the boss. I want to be the investor.
Once again, I understand what you're saying, but you're very, very broadly choosing what you're saying to sell shit to people who can't take action on what you're saying. I'd rather take financial advice from Big Chungus. If you look up Grant Cardone advice for 20-year-old, you'll find the most baseline advice video that you can from Mr. Grant.
Big question keeps getting asked to me, what would you do or what advice would you give your 20-year-old self?
He recommends staying away from drugs and alcohol. True, I 100% recommend that as well.
First thing I would tell you, 20-year-old Grant, dude, drugs, alcohol, I don't care what drug you think you're doing that's okay, Grant. I'm just giving this advice to myself. Leave all the drugs and the alcohol alone.
Get rid of toxic people and replace them with positive people.
Change your friends. Hang with the people that are dreaming. Hang with the people that are doing, not the people that are complaining, bitching, moaning, groaning, negative. You got negative Nellies. I don't care if it's your mom or your dad, brother, uncle, sister. I don't care if you were born in the womb with it. If they negative, get rid of those people and replace them with people that are positive, people that are doing things.
He suggests learning everything you can about real estate.
I would not tell the 20-year-old Grant to go get six businesses. I would tell him to learn everything he can about real estate. Okay, 32 units and above. I write about this in my book, How to Create Wealth Investing in Real Estate.
20-year-olds out there watching this video, if you're looking to get into the real estate world, instead of looking into a, let's say, 55-unit condo in downtown Manhattan, just settle for a 32-unit complex in maybe the south of Dallas, something that's a little bit more affordable so you can get your foot in the door. Just buy an apartment complex in big city. Okay, so this guy is epic, and there's a lot of epic clips of him that are floating around of him yelling at people and getting into arguments with other rich people, specifically the fucking T-Mobile guy. I mean, he's getting sued. He's suing him.
Grant, you are the biggest bullshit artist on the planet. Okay,
John,
so I'll finish my statement. So Grant Cardone, who talks about being a recovering addict, and if you look at his posts, they are constantly him holding wine and whiskey and everything else. So, Grant, are you a recovering addict or are you just a drunk?
Why are you trying to diminish everybody in the room?
No, just you, Grant, because you're a fucking con man. I'll say this on this room right now. I believe that in the next year, Grant Cardone will be found guilty of fraud.
I'm sorry. I feel bad for Grant after this. He made him look like an absolute fool on multiple occasions. When someone like John Legere thinks you're a con man, he's not a guy who just says shit. He's not like me or the other people on YouTube. Maybe we take it with a grain of salt when it comes from me. When it's John Legere, he probably knows con men really well. And when he sees a financial influencer claiming that he's a billionaire and selling courses to people and is under investigation by the FTC, I don't know. Make up your own minds. I did Grant a service in this video by giving him the opportunity to show you guys who he is, his advice, the cold calls, the selling the glass of water thing, just a bit of an introduction to who he is before showing him getting mopped by Jordan Belfort and the fucking T-Mobile guy. This guy just gets beaten up quite a bit for saying dumb shit and just lying in general.
They're like, no, don't come by. But see, that was interest. To me, that's interest. No, I'm not interested. Not interested.
So not interested to use interest.
Well, it is. It says not interested. Not is an adjective to describe interest.
As soon as you ask them a couple of questions like, no, I'm not interested, and you end it right there. Because unlike, what's his name, Grant, no interest means no interest.
Jordan Belfort made him look like a fool. What in the hell? I don't even like Jordan Belfort, and this just makes me actually like Jordan Belfort. If you don't know who Jordan Belfort is, by the way, that's the Wolf of Wall Street fella.
Shut the fuck up.
All the Grant v. Jordan Belfort clips, by the way, came from a podcast that he for some reason agreed to do and just tarnish his reputation from now until forever. So on top of that, he likes to sue people who are detractors of him, like John Leisure and I'm sure other people. So before you take this guy at face value and just start following every word that he says, perhaps you should know that there was an investigation which showed that Grant had been involved in several business disputes and that several of the people around him, including his brother Gary, have been accused of fraud by federal authorities. There's this amazing HuffPost article from earlier this year. Financial influencer Grant Cardone says he can make you a billionaire. His investors claim he defrauded them. Oh, crap. Grant's brother, who looks a lot like Grant, I think that's just Grant, to be honest, is a managing partner at this thing called Card One Ventures and was named a defendant in a case brought forward from the FTC as a result of a company called Chargebacks 911 using misleading information to contest chargebacks. And here's the court case. Some of the relevant information is underlined here. This is for them allegedly using fake information and screenshots to prevent people from charging back charges to their accounts. This chargeback feature, if you don't know what it is basically to help people who have been defrauded get their money back.
I'll be explaining chargeback protection today. Demi here is the lead actress on set, and since that face is her retirement, she needs me to film the scene for her. That's like chargeback protection for businesses. As a solution, it automatically stands in for you when you receive an eligible dispute. Like when customers say,
"My item didn't arrive."
Or,
"I didn't authorize this transaction."
Basically, Gary is ensuring that people cannot get the money back from fraudulent charges on their account by faking screenshots and other information. But that's not Grant, though. That's just his fucking identical twin, Gary. Now, what about Grant? I showed the Huffington Post article, and in this article, journalists followed up with some people who tried to take Grant's classes. One woman by the name of Lisa, who owns a company in Virginia, a chiropractic company in Virginia, signed up for 6 years worth of Grant's classes at a staggering $795 a month. Lisa did this because she was a fan of Grant's. He is a financial influencer after all, and she believed the message that he was preaching was genuine and true. And she wanted to take steps towards securing her financial freedom as anyone would. Any rational person is going to want to better themselves professionally and give themselves that sort of safety net, right? It makes sense. Now, this whole thing with Grant required her to max out all of her credit cards to attend the training sessions with him. Now that's financial freedom. Back in 2020, Lisa wrote to Grant's company and explained that she was struggling and she had fallen on hard times. She was asking for some understanding about her late and missed payments to Grant, or at least Grant's team. I'm not really sure. So, do you think that Grant or his team was understanding of Lisa's late payments and her lack of contribution to Grant's epic firm? They were not understanding. They sued her for the remaining $52,000 that was outstanding. Grant doesn't need $52,000. He's a billionaire, right? Lisa, on the other hand, needs this money because she's just a regular person. She's not a billionaire. She's not this handsome guy with an even handsomer twin. She's just a lady with a chiropractic clinic in Virginia. Quite honestly, she's a loser. So of course Grant just fucking sued her. I think that is just the pinnacle of who exactly Grant Cardone is. He's that guy, pal. He really truly is that guy. He doesn't understand the average person. He doesn't want to understand the average person. He's just making money. He's just saying things to get people to give him money for the things that he's saying. And that's the problem. He's a financial influencer. You don't get good advice from influencers. Like, that's just how the fuck it is. It's crazy. And we live in an age in which the gurus or the fake gurus are at an all-time high. They're running rampant, and they're just taking advantage of people who are, quite frankly, stupid. If you're down to your last $5,000, do this.
Let me tell you, okay? I would take that $5,000 with the new FHA laws. I would buy a $100,000 piece of real estate, live in one unit, rent the other 3 out, have negative impact on my income. I would live there for free. At the end of 12 months, I would move out, rent 4 units, have positive cash flow, raise the rents $200, and make myself probably $200 grand on this $5,000.
So firstly, you have to find a place that has 4 units at least for 100 grand. Where? And then you have to find people who are dumb enough who you can manipulate into renting the other units that you're not living in and then raising the rent $200 after a year. Bro's on crack or something. That is insane. 4 units for $100,000? Anyways, thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Sorry, Grant. Don't fall victim.